All right, everybody, welcome to the video here for lesson number 3 on angle, side angle, triangle congruence. So first thing that we notice here is there are 3 different ways now that we know how to prove triangles are congruent. So in this lesson, we only used angle, side angle. You'll notice on your quick quiz on Monday, you have to know the difference between the 3. All right, so number 1 is kind of just identifying angle, side angle again. So if we look here, it's asking us what missing piece of information would be needed to use angle, side angle. So I have angle K and angle U are the same, angle L and angle T are the same, so the missing piece of information would have to be a side. And it would have to be a side between the 2 congruent angles. So it'd have to be side KL and side UT. So then we can say KL is congruent to UT, which would make triangle KLM congruent to triangle UTS. In part B, notice only one set of angles is labeled, but there's actually 2 sets of angles that are congruent because at point V, we have vertical angles. Then, just like in A, I have to have a missing side as well. So then I can say WV would have to be congruent to VK, which would create triangle UVW being congruent to triangle MVK. Number 2 is an actual proof. So number 2 is a familiar picture. We've seen this in a previous lesson, but there's different givens, so the proof itself is going to be different. So it's asking us to prove that the 2 triangles are congruent. It tells us that one of the angles is bisected and that 2 of the segments are perpendicular. So just like always, we want to start with the first given. So QP bisects angle NPM given. So if QP bisects that angle, that means the angle is getting cut in half. NPM then gets cut into 2 congruent angles. So off of that given, I'm going to say angle NPQ is congruent to angle MPQ because a bisector divides, sorry about that, an angle, because the angle is getting cut in half, into 2 congruent angles. I'm essentially just describing what bisects means. The next given says that QP is perpendicular to MN. So now we have to think, what does perpendicular mean? Perpendicular means wherever those 2 segments intersect, they're going to have right angles. Now this given is always going to follow with 2 bubbles. So the first bubble is going to be angle NQP and angle MQP are right. And the reason why is perpendicular lines form right angles. The next thing we can say is that angle NQP is congruent to angle MQP because all right angles are congruent. And then the last thing we see is the reflexive property. So now you can say QP is congruent to QP because of the reflexive property. And then that will lead us to be able to say triangle PMQ is congruent to triangle PMQ by angle side angle. 1, 2, 3 reasons. There's your homework, right? Make sure that you're studying all the different rules from the last few lessons so that you can be successful on the quick quiz on Monday. Good luck.